Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have watched perhaps one of the best werewolf films I have seen for easily the past 15 years. The Cursed. Now, this is a very late review, and I do apologise, ladies and gents. I've fallen off the wagon, as it were, with respect to movie reviews, but I'm going to get back to them now. I can assure you of that. I've moved now. I'm obviously in this new space, so expect a lot more movie reviews. The Cursed. Non-spoiler review as possible. A little bit of a spoiler warning at the end for tiny amounts of spoilers. This is a film which is written and directed by Sean Ellis, featuring primarily Boyd Holbrook. I mean, he is our leading man, a pathologist that is called in after a disappearance of a rich, wealthy family's boy, and essentially animal killings start ensuing. You can take from that what you will. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. It has Kelly Riley. We have Alistair Petrie. Those are our rich, wealthy family parents, and it's their son that goes missing. This film was so expertly put together on... Well, I can't find the budget, quite frankly, but you know it's not going to be an awful lot. This film featured at Sundance festivals and things like that. It is an indie film, and most horror films are indie films these days. They're not made for, tens, 20s, hundreds of millions of dollars. They're just not. This film was really quite beautifully put together, and I've seen some criticisms just because I have to Google the cast and some information, some criticisms over the lighting, and actually that was one of the things which I really enjoyed about this film, is the lighting. I really quite appreciated it. Not that there was a lot of it, I'll give it that, but what lighting we did have, natural, pointed, unnatural lighting, I thought actually worked really well to give it a visceral sense. And you could say that some of that comes down to the colour grading as well, potentially not as good as it should be. This one was tense from start to finish. I don't want to get too wrapped up into the technical aspect of lighting and colour grading and things, but this film was tense from start to finish. It's obviously a werewolf horror film. That is what the film is, but it weaves its own mythology, and obviously the film is The Cursed. We essentially start out in the trenches where someone gets shot and he is being operated on. They need to get 3 bullets out of him. Operator, surgeon gets 2 out, goes to get another, and actually says, oh no, it must have shattered, there's something else in here. We'll go in for a second go and get that out. It's a silver bullet. From there we go to a manor house, grieving, someone's dressed in black, and then we flash back to the events that occur to that individual acquiring a silver bullet in their guts. And that's the story, of course, of this werewolf. Now, on the flashback, this film was obviously about a curse. It weaves its own mythology of werewolves. Gypsies have moved into a land. They have, by rights, ownership of this land. They don't want money. They don't want riches. They want the land. And obviously they get dispatched. They lay a curse down. Murder ensues. That is as non-spoilery as possible. Now, in doing so, we tie in religion. There's multiple different sort of horrifying aspects. There's, you've seen the trailer. There's a weird scarecrow-looking man. The story behind that is just disgusting. This film dares to go there. Boy, howdy, do they go there. Slight spoiler, but it's not, because of course what happens in the movie is way beyond just this opening act. But that is a man that has been strung up. He's had his wrists and ankles hacked off, so he has no hands, no feet. You see all of this, and then his clothes are stuffed with straw, and he's put in a hessian sack, and then he's strung up as a scarecrow. It is brutal. Every single attack in this film is seen. You witness it all. It is disgusting, and it is so beautifully put together with practical effects. There is no attack in this in terms of the damage that is done that is CGI. There's no CGI blood. It's all squibs. It's all just the most disgusting prosthetics you've ever seen in your life. Like, it is really gross. And the murder scene of all the gypsies was really brutal in every single frame. Because obviously when I'm watching a movie, I want to look at every single aspect of what's in frame. Not just central, i.e. what the cinematographer and the director wants us to look at. I start looking at everything else as well, just to make sure that there's no weird dancing stuntmen in the corner, which is a renowned thing in bigger budget films. When people are fighting, they basically do a dance, and you can see that they're not trying. But this was just disgusting. Everything in the frame was gross. Everyone was doing something. It was really brutal. Really, really brutal. But not in like a, oh, this is torture porn way. Like, it sets the stage for the events that ensue, and it questions your moral compass on, do you want people to get murdered as a result of this? The gypsies by right had this land. They were obviously brutalized. Is it their fault that then this occurred? It makes you question it. Not in a moralistic, holier than thou, we're gonna, wave our fingers at you way. It doesn't do it like that. But it does make you question whether you are rooting for the right people. Boy howdy. Now, again, all the prosthetics work was incredible. The practical effects was just mind-blowing. It was really beautifully done. It was nice to see. They obviously had corpses made up as well of little boys with maggots and all this kind of stuff. And they are works of art. Obviously they're horrendous and they're hideous, but they are works of art. And it was glorious to see. It was really good to see practical effects done and shot in such a nice way. Now, there was some CG work in this. That is for our sort of werewolf creature. Yeah, very good design. All of that was a really good design. Really, really nice. Interesting, unique, philosophical sort of approach to the werewolf design. I can't reveal too much, but yeah, I really liked it. I really, really liked it. Outside of that, how the werewolf comes to be and pass on, etc., is probably about standard. But what the werewolf is and how it functions, what it looks like, quite unique, actually. Thoroughly unique. Now, actors all did a really good job. Boyd Holbrook, this was probably a standout performance from him. I really liked him in this. He acted really well. He acted really, really well. More so than I've seen him act for quite some time. I can't remember what last movie I saw him in, but it wasn't particularly good. And he is a good actor. I think he's been finding his feet in Hollywood with certain projects, and I think, in fairness, this is a movie this type of movie he excels at. This sort of low budget indie film where he can work solidly with a director that will really push him along, rather than a big budget film. I think this is more his jam, and he gets tested quite a lot more. Kelly Riley did a really good job in this, very believable in the role, very, very believable, in fact. And we had Alistair Petrie. He did a really good job, or Petrie. He did a really, really good job as this sort of cantankerous, wealthy man with honour and integrity, which led to probably one of the most brutal scenes I've ever seen. Again, no spoilers because I'm not naming names, but to watch a man set himself on fire, wow, it was really brutal. The score was fantastic. The sound design worked expertly well. They knew just when to have silence. No sound design, nothing. Just the subtle rustle of leaves here and there. It worked. It was a fantastic film. It's genuinely one of the best werewolf films I've seen past 10-15 years easily. I haven't seen a werewolf film this good for a very long time. Hence why I am literally rabbiting and raving on about it. It was fantastic. I think that about wraps it up. There's not an awful lot else to talk about. it weaved such great tension throughout the film. Beautifully done, no weird jump scares. It wasn't about that. You just knew stuff was coming. The tension was palpable. So, slight spoiler warning, because I want to talk about the werewolf design. So if you haven't seen it, I would advise you to click off the video now. So slight spoilers, let's get on to the werewolf design. Now, in terms of the religious aspect, they're talking about the silvers. I can't remember the exact terminology behind it, but it was Ezekiel. The silvers from God, and this silver, specific silver, has been cursed into and shaped into the shape of teeth, which the gypsies then cursed upon the land, specifically the shamus, the wealthy landowner that ordered all the gypsies to be murdered, and these teeth sort of compel people to wear them. It happens, kid wears them, bites this little boy that becomes the werewolf. You have to, well, what is thought to be the solution here, which turns out to be the case, is you melt the teeth down, shape them into bullets, and then you fire them at the werewolf, thus resolving the curse, apparently. Now, the way the werewolf is, shaped and put together is really well done. No hair, not a proper wolf. It almost has like a human-like face, but not. Cross between a vampire and a wolf, but with no hair. Really, really unique look. Really, really interesting. They almost get encased in vines, almost like a willow tree vines, which then creates this body around it, which is the werewolf body. Because one werewolf is killed, they hack it open and the girl's inside, but it's not the girl any longer. It's just this rabid monster that then begins to want to hunt again. Presumably will encase itself in another werewolf body. It was a very interesting design. And the fact that, the one at the end gets shot, the little boy gets shot, and then manages to survive, I thought was interesting. But I also think the timing was interesting, because we're flashing forwards and backwards in time, and you see as he takes his first breath after he's been shot, his mother dies instantly next to him. I thought there was some level of sort of poetic philosophy there from the religious aspect, because she had previously, just before those events, been praying to God, and I think maybe as she died she gave her breath up so he may breathe again, or it's just simply because the curse was lifted, but he was literally shot in the gut. So I think that there you could, undertones of the religious aspect are definitely there. All in all, it's a fantastic film. Genuinely go watch it if you haven't. Brilliant. Let me know your thoughts if you have watched it down below. Give the video a like and please do share it. Thank you all so much for watching. This is a must see. A genuine must see, actually. I don't say that about many films. This is a must watch. But thank you all so much. Take care.